all right, I mean, start up, back up just a second and say, all right, here's how we get.
Okay. So I'm recording right now. So if anybody doesn't completely understand everything, then they can later go over it again, everything that I'll tell you. So once you actually get back into the rehearsal rounds, you can click on the R&D or any of them that you want, and then go to reports, and then click on the front page to find the fast track. So once you find the fast track, this is what's going to tell you everything about your business and everything that's going on. They'll tell you your sales, your profits, your contribution margin. They'll give you a brief pie graph. They'll tell you how much of the market share you have compared to your competitors. You guys will be playing with 6 teams, and on mine it only shows 3, because that's just what I set it up as. So then it goes to stocks and bonds. It will tell you what your stock price, your closing stock price is, the book value, dividends, and yield. It will tell you your financial summary, the production analysis, how much everybody from each team made, produced of their product and then sold, how many units of inventory they had left over, and everything like that. It will tell you everything about the low-tech segment, and then everything about the high-tech segment, and then your market share report, and everything like that. So basically, the first thing you do when you're running CapSim is you're going to want to know how much you need to produce. So if you go to the decisions and go to production, again, decisions and then production, you actually see that this is your product, Able. Last time I sold 1,600 products, or I made 1,600 products, and I sold them all because I don't have any inventory on hand or left over. I have, so what I want to do is I want to try to find out how much I want to make to sell this round so that I can sell as much as I can without going over on how much I produce, and not sell too little so I make the most profit. If that makes sense. So I'm going to go back to my fast track, and I'm going to look at my market share report. If you can't find it, then just go to the top. It says market share on page 7. You can click on that. It will immediately bring you down to the market share report. So this will tell you what your market share was last round. So last round I competed and I sold 31.4% of the low-tech market, and I sold 39.7% of the high-tech market. So if I go into an Excel sheet, I can set up my round 1, put my product, my actual, and set up an actual unit sold. And then for low-tech, I can say, hey, I sold 31% of 3,168. So I do 3,168 times 0.314, and I get the actual amount that I sold. And then I do the same thing for the high-tech market, and I can find out the actual amount that I sold. So once you find out what you actually sold, then you want to find out what you actually could have sold, so your potential that you had in the market. The potential is given right next to it.
And can I interrupt real quick? And
Yeah.
the Excel spreadsheet, where did you click to pull that up? Can you show us that?
I just made this myself.
You made that, okay.
Yes.
Oh, great. So you made that beforehand. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just made that. You can make it any way that you want that will fit you best. But I just put the round, then the product, and then the actual market share, and then the potential market share, and then the difference. So how much that I could have sold more last round that I didn't. So how I faulted, or If I sold more than I potentially could have, then how much more I stole from the market. So once you do that, you're going to go to your potential, and I potentially could have had 35.3% of 31.4%. So I could have sold 4% more than what I did. So I will go through and I would say 35.3% of 3,188, and that's what I did. And then I did a difference of the two to see that I should have produced 130 more than what I actually did. Does that make sense? So does anybody have any questions about that? How I did the low-tech segment for Able? Does everybody understand that? That is how you're going to predict. This is how you're going to help yourself predict what you need to produce. So then you're going to do the same thing for the high-tech segment. Just take this percentage, multiply it by how much of the industry units were sold, and then you're going to take it, your potential, and multiply it by how much of the unit industry that was sold, and you're going to get, you can put it in an Excel file, just do it on your calculator, and I got 589 is what I sold. I could have sold 657 units. I could have sold 67 units more than what I produced. So in total, I could have sold 197 more. So I should have produced more last round. So now I want to know what I can produce next round. So you're going to use these potential percentage markers to try to predict what you could produce the next round. So you're going to go to your low-tech market segment analysis. Again, if you can't find that, you just go to the top, click on low-tech segment analysis. And in the low-tech segment analysis, it will tell you the total industry unit demand for that round. And then it will tell you what your next year's segment growth rate will be. So it says next year there will be 10% more people that will demand this unit next year. So there's 3,188 last year. 10% more is going to be 319. So you add those together and you're going to get, I just did 3,188 times 1.1. And then I took my percentage, my potential that I wanted before, and I multiplied it through. So one more time, I found the low-tech segment. I took the unit demand. I multiplied it by next year's segment growth rate to find out how much more it would grow. I added that to the last year's unit demand, and then I multiplied it by my potential that I could have sold. And when I did that, I got that I could sell next year in the low-tech segment 1,101 products. That could potentially sell 1,237 products, or if I just kept what I sold last year, I could sell 1,101. So, but I want to shoot for that 1,237. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the high-tech market. I'm going to go again to the top, click on high-tech segment analysis, and I'm going to look at my total industry unit demand of 1,490. And I'm going to look at my next year's segment growth rate, which is 20%. So next year, I will be able to sell 1,490 times 1.2, which will give me my total industry unit demand for the next round. And then I'll take my potential for the high market, which is 44.1%, and I'll multiply them together. So that's what I did. I did 0.441% times 1,490, which was last year's market, times 1.2, because it will grow by 20%, to find out how much I could actually potentially sell next year for this product. And in total, the sum of all that, I got 2,026. So I could sell potentially 2,026 units. Although, actually, I may only sell 1,810. So I will probably sell somewhere in between there is what I will sell for the next round. So what do? I go back to my CapSim, and I'm already in my decisions for production, and I look at what I can produce, and if I can produce as much as I need, or if I need to be able to produce more. So the production schedule is how much I want to actually put out into the industry. So the number of units you wish to build this year in thousands, you cannot schedule more than twice your first shift capacity. So right here is my first shift capacity of 900. So I could potentially sell 1,800 units. Now that's lower than my actual. So so I want to actually I want to buy more capacity because I can only sell 1,800. So I look at this and it says the amount of capacity you wish to buy or sell this year in thousands of units. So I want to be able to sell at least 2,000 units according to my Excel sheet, 2026, even if that's not what I want to actually produce. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, okay, I want to raise it by 100 because that means that next year this will become 1,000. This round I can still only do double my first shift capacity, but next year the capacity that I bought will come into effect and I'll be able to do 2,000 instead. So does anybody have any questions on that? Can you guys still hear me? You guys understand what's going on? You guys can type in the chat if you understand. Okay, perfect. Okay, so next year I'll have 1,000 capacity, which is exactly what I want. So the next thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at my marketing because I want to know how much money I'm going to have in order to be able to.
Andy, you said, Andy, this is Quinn. You said you had 1,000, but you actually have 2,000 capacity. Is that right? Because you can run 2 shifts.
Yes, because you can run 2 shifts. So
right.
My first shift capacity would have been 1,000.
And the second combined would be 2,000. Okay.
Yep. So the next thing you want to do is you want to realize how much money you have. If you don't know how much money you have, then you don't know how much you can invest into your company, and you don't know what kind of risks you can take if you want to risk producing more or less products. So for the low-tech market, so I'm going to look at my reports, and I'm going to look at my high-tech and low-tech perceptual map. So if I look, you can kind of see that my able, I can look at a better one. If I go to my R&D, then you can see that my able is right in the middle of my high-tech circle and my low-tech circle. So I can potentially sell to both segments. That is a good thing to know. So when I'm in my marketing and I want to decide my price, I have to take that into consideration. I can sell to both products. What kind of price do I want? So in the low-tech market, it says the highest that you want to put it is $35. Then if you go to the high-tech market, it says the highest you can put it is $45. So you want to go somewhere because you can sell it to the high-tech and the low-tech market, and then you want to put it somewhere in between there. Or if you want to sell it directly to the low-tech market, but because it is such a good product, you're just put it at $35. So I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say, hey, I think they're dead in the middle. I'm only producing 1,800, which is the lowest amount that I'll sell. So I'm going to up my price a little bit to make sure that I actually get more money for not being able to sell that 200 that I lack. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say I could probably sell all my products for 38 bucks. And then you're going to want to go to your promo budget Your promo budget is what helps your customer awareness. So the more aware your customers are of you, the more likely that they will be to buy your product instead of someone else's product that they don't know anything about their product, or they don't even know who they are. So it says that if you put $1 million into your awareness, that your awareness will go up by 26%. If you had a second million, then it will go up another 18% above that 26%. If you go up a third million, then it will go up another 5%. So if you guys read everything, they'll actually tell you what amount you should put in. And then a key thing to note is that once you actually attain 100% awareness, then you can just put your promo budget to 1.4 million, and then you will actually retain that 100%, and you don't need to invest the 3 million in order to get it up to that 100%. So I have it at 2,000. I'm going to put it at 2,500 just because I want to get my awareness up, because I'm only on round 2, and my awareness, if you come down, isn't that good. It's only 82%. I want it to get up to 100%. It's above everyone else's, but I want 100%, right? So I put it to 2,500.
And I'll just note that when it says 2,500, that's actually 2.5 million.
Yes. So 2.5 million. And then you're going to come to your sales budget, and it's the same thing. You read through it. $3 million is the max benefit. So there's no additional benefit for spending more than $3 million. So if you do over that, then it's not helping you. And if you have 2 or more products in the same segment, which means if you have a product, 2 products in the high-tech segment or 2 products in the low-tech segment, then it doesn't help you to put more than 4.5 million to combined. So about 2 million in each one. So I'm at 2 million here. Again, I don't want to go over 3 million, so I'm just going to do the 2,500,000. And then I'm going to look at my forecast. The benchmark prediction is something that a computer will tell you what they think you can sell. It is not very helpful, and I would never go by what the benchmark prediction is. Instead, you're going to forecast by looking at what you did on your Excel sheet and by how much you actually decided to produce. So your production is 1,800. You're not going to do 1,800 in your marketing because you don't know if you're actually going to get 1,800, so you're going to go a little less. But you hope, you're pretty sure that you're going to get 1,800 because you did your Excel sheet, and it shows that you should at least be able to sell 1,810. So then I go back, and I'm just going to do 1,750. What that will do is that would tell you how much money you will make next year in your sales. So if you actually sell this amount for this price, then you will make $10,508,000. Okay. I'm sorry if you guys can't understand everything I'm saying very well. I'll try to speak as clear as I can so you guys can understand. So once you actually do all this, then you're a step closer to getting what you want. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your finances. So go to your decisions and then finance to see how much money you have in order to invest, that you can invest into your company. So I look at this, and it says that at the end of this round, once I run it, so in 2015, and I'm December 31st of 2015, which is the year I am in, I should have $16,108,000. So I don't want to have all that money laying around. I want to invest as much money as I can into my business so that I can produce more products and then I can do more things. So I'm going to go back to my production. And if you have a lot of money left over, then a really good thing to do is create another product. So I look and I say, this is how much I can invest into production or into my products, and I've only used 2,400,000 of that. So I have another 10,000 that I can do. So I can make another product, or I can invest in automation. Automation makes it so that your product relies less on physical labor, relies less on physical labor, and relies more on machinery. So robots will make your product instead of actual people. And people cost more than robots, so the higher the automation, the less labor costs you will have, so the more profit you will have, a bigger profit margin you will have. So I'm going to look at this and say, well, I want to raise my automation up just by 1. I'm going to recalculate. And then I still have around 6,000 left, so I'm going to create another product because I have all that money. So I'm going to go to the R&D, which is where you create a product. That is a good question. If you enter in a different number, you will have to recalculate in order to see how it actually affects your system. Does that make sense?
So
Okay.
just to clarify things, recalculate just resets the button and lets you see the new numbers. It's not actually submitting the round. It just lets you continue to play with different numbers. Is that correct?
Yes. So now that I recalculated and I realize that I have 6,000 more that I can invest into my into production, I want to create another product. So my company is Andrews. So every product that I have has to start with an A. So you have to name your product. I like to choose girl names. So I'm going to name my product Allie. So now I'm going to have to look and I'm going to have to decide what performance, size, and MTBF I want. Again, if you don't know what the performance or size, like what that means, you can click on the exclamation mark and we'll explain it better what each one will do for your company. But I'm not going to explain that because I believe that you guys can just click on it and they'll explain it just as well as I can. So I have Able over here. Every year, Able is going to decrease in what size people want and what performance people want. So if you think of an iPod, every year they come out with a new iPhone or something like that that is smaller and has better performance. And that makes the old iPhone, so the iPhone 4, less wanted. So it's the same thing with your products. Every year somebody wants a smaller size, better performing product. So Able will stay right here, but this map, these circles that show what people want, they will actually drift farther this way because people want a smaller size with better performance. So Able over time is gonna fall back on what people want. Right now, Able is pretty good, so I'm not going to touch Able. Instead, I'm going to create a product, and I'm going to make Able my low-tech product because she's going to drift into the low-tech market. She's going to drift into the low-tech market, so I'm going to create a product for the high-tech market. So I'm going to want to find out what I want to put her at. So I'm going to go back to my fast track. I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to click on the high-tech segment because that's what I decided I wanted to do. I wanted to make a high-tech market. And I look at the ideal position for the last round, and it was 8.1 and 11.9. Now, as you guys read and go through the rehearsal tutorial, they would tell you that every year your performance should go, in order to keep it in the ideal position, it will go up 0.7 in performance and down 0.7 in size in the high-tech market. So I wanted to go up 0.7 in performance and down 0.7 in size every year if I want to keep it at the ideal age or at the ideal position. So 8.1, 11.9, I want it to be at 8.9 or 8.8 and 11.2. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say I want it to be 8.8 and 11.2. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to say the MTBF right here, it says it should be within 17,000 and 23,000. So a good middle point for the MTBF, depending on what you want to sell, would be 20,000. If you want yours, if everybody that's competing against you has their MTBF at 21,000, maybe you want to put yours up to 21,000 as well. I'm going to keep mine at 20,000 for right now. Once I did that, I will recalculate so that Allie appears at what I want. So I come over here and look, there's Allie. She's right there. So I look at my revision date next, and it says that Allie won't actually come out till July of next year. So she won't come out in this round. She'll come out in round 3. You will be able to see other people's product positioning once they come out. You will not be able to see it once they're in Allie state, which is when they're being created. But once they actually are, one product is sold, then you will be able to see other people's product positioning. So you look at Allie, you see that she's in the sweet spot for 2015, which is up here. I wish you could see that. There, year 2015. She's not coming out till July 16th. So what does that mean? That means that she's going to really want to be in the sweet spot for 2016, not 2015. So this is the sweet spot for 2015. So I want her to be at the sweet spot in July of 2016. So July is the middle of the year. It goes up 0.7 in performance. So if you want to go up half that, then you're going to go up about 0.4 or 0.35. So I'm just going to do 0.4. So I'm going to put her to 9.2 in performance because she's coming out in July. And then the size, I wanted to go down 0.4. So I'm going to do 10.8 in size. And then I'm going to recalculate. I'm going to go over and I'm going to see, sweet, there's Allie. She's a little bit above what the high-tech market wants, but that's fine because she's not coming out till August. And this circle will drift farther down for 2016. So she should be in a good location for 2016 when she comes out in August. So now that I created this product, you don't really need to go to marketing because she's not coming out this year. She's not coming out till 2016. She's there, but you won't be able to put a price, promo budget, sales budget, or forecast on her just yet. But what you will need to do is go to your production. With your production, you will need to buy some capacity so you can actually sell her in 2016. So right now she has 0 capacity and 0 automation. You need to at least have 1 automation in order for her to work. So if you put 1 automation in, now you're just going to use up all the money that you have left and buying capacity and automation for Allie. I usually like to start my automation at 3, and then whatever money I have left, I put it into the capacity. So I'm going to recalculate at 200, and we'll see where I am. So I have 200. I still have 3,000 left. So I'm going to do maybe 500, see how it goes. Oh, no, I was way over. So in between 200 and 500, it's about 350. Recalculate 12,700. I'm going to do 375 because I want to use as much of my investment as I can so I get the most bang for my buck. So this is where I see what I have left. My max investment is what I actually am allowed to spend, and this is how much I am actually spending. Does that make sense? So I want to spend as much as I can. So I want to get it as close as I can without going over. So just being 50,000 off is pretty good. So I'm going to leave it like that. So now I want to see if I have the money for this. So I'm going to go back to my finance and see if I actually have the money to do all this. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to look. It says, oh, I'm going to sell $4,009. I'm still going to have $4,981 left. So I am good. I don't have to take out any loans at all because I have around $5 million left over just in case I don't sell all the products that I was predicting. So it's good to have in between, it's good to have at least $5 million in your cash position while you're just starting out, because you don't know right away, like I do, if what you're predicting you're going to sell is going to be the best. But once you become more confident in what you can sell, then you could probably bring this down to only having $2 million left, and you'd still be on the safe side. So with more time, you'll get better, and you won't need to have the $5 million. But I would at least have $5 million in your cash position before you process around. So now we're done. Now we went through everything. We looked at our R&D, our marketing, our production. We created a product. We calculated out how much we think we should produce. On an Excel sheet, we feel pretty confident that we're going to do better than everyone else. We're going to kick everybody else's trash. So we're going to go to the file, and we're going to update our decisions. You don't want to save it unless you feel like you're not done. You just want to come back to it later. But we're done, so we're going to update our decisions. No, we do not need to schedule production for Allie because Allie is not coming out till 2016. So next year we will, but because this year is 2015, we will wait till next year when it's 2016 to actually produce something for Allie. So we're going to leave her at 0 because technically she has 0 capacity, so we can't produce anything. So now that we updated our decisions, we are going to process the round. So I'm going to process the round, and we're going to see how we did. So I'm going to come over here, exit out of this tutorial, and I want to see what I did. I'm going to open up this first, just so I get into the system. I'm going to exit out of my old fast track, and I want to see my new one. So I'm going to go to reports, front page, and look at my new fast track. So I'm excited. I think I did really good. I think we did really good. So you look at this, it says, oh, that's still round 2. Oh yeah, so this is what we want, round 2. So I made in sales $67.7 million. Heck yeah. Everyone else, the highest was $63 million. So I made $4.7 million more than the next person. I took 36% of the market, so I took 3% more than the next person. So we did really good. So we're looking at this, and it's like, sweet, we did good. We made a lot of money. But we still sold out. So we probably could have sold more. So what are we going to do? We're going to start right over again. We're going to look at our actual market share, and then we're going to look at our potential market share. So we actually did 42.5% of the low tech is what we took. We actually took 23.9%. We could have taken, though, 47% of the low tech and 31% of the high. So we totally undershot. But we didn't have the production in order to make that, in order to sell that amount. So now I have a first shift capacity of 1,000. So the max, I want to sell 2,000, right? Because I want to be able to do that. But before I rush into that, I'm going to go to my Excel sheet, and I'm going to predict what I should produce for round 3. So I'm going to go to round 3. I'm going to shrink this. . I'm going to go down to here. I'm going to pull up my fast track. I got them next to each other so I can see them better. And I'm going to say, okay, I actually sold 42.5%. So I didn't do too good, but I want to see what I do, what I can do better. So I'm going to go to my potential. And first I'm going to look on my low-tech market. I'm going to say the unit demand, just like last time, is 3,507. Next year's growth is going to be 10%. So in 2015, it was 3,507. It's going to grow another 10%. So I'm going to go at 3,507. I'm going to times it by the 1.1. And then I'm going to multiply it by my potential. I potentially could have had 47.1%. That's really good. So I'm going to go 47.1%. Okay. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy it because I want it over here so I don't have to redo it. And my actual was 42.5. So I'm going to go to the 42.5. Okay. So I sold 1,639. I could have sold 1,816. I should have produced 177 more for the low-tech market. I'm going to go to the high-tech, and I'm going to look at how much the unit demand was in the high-tech market. Again, if you can't find the high-tech, you just go to the top, high-tech segment analysis. Then you go to the unit demand. There's 1,788. It will grow another 20% next year. So 1,788. I go to my this, type in 1,788. It stays at growing 20%. And I come to here, and I see that I could have sold, for the high-tech market, my potential was 31.8%. So it was lower than last year. Last year I could have sold 44%. This time I could only sell 31.8. So I go to 31.8. And that's probably because my product drifted to the low tech because people want smaller, better products. So her potential went up in the low tech market, but went down in the high tech market. And I can copy that, bring that over, and then I'll change that 0.318 to 23.9, which is what I actually sold. Sorry about that, guys. And then this will tell me in the range of what I could sell. So I could sell 2,499 products total, units total, with 2,152. So I look at this and I say, okay, I want to sell 2,500 products. I can sell 2,000 products of Able, but I also have Allie. Allie can sell double her shift capacity. So this is where it gets a little tricky because Allie could sell 750. I'm going to recalculate that. I'm going to stick that in. But it says right here, after her production after adjustment, she can really only sell 273 products. So you could try to produce 750, but because she's only coming out, if you remember, she comes out in August of 2016, she can only be produced from September, October, November, and December, so 4 months out of the year. So she can really only sell 273 products. So I'm going to put her down to 230 because I don't want to actually try to create 750 because that will cost me money, and I can really only do the 228. So that's where it leaves us with Valley. So she can't actually use her full first shift capacity because she doesn't actually come out till August. So does anybody have any questions about that? You guys understand that? Does that help you out? Okay. So that's something that you need to do. You need to realize that if something comes out later in the year, then they can only have that certain amount of time in order to produce that product. So I'm glad it makes sense. So then I'm going to go, after I did my production, I can sell 2,230. I'm going to go to my marketing, and I'm going to say that, well, I'm trying to sell 2,000 with Able, so I'm going to put 1,900, and I'm going to sell 230, so I'm going to put 200 for Allie, but now I need to decide a price for Allie. So I'm going to first go to my R&D and look at where she's at, because I don't remember where I put her. Let's see here. I put her in the high-tech market. She's in a sweet spot, the high-tech market. She's right up there at the highest you can go. So I go back to my fast track. For the high-tech market, it says the highest price I can do is $45. Well, I think she's right there at the highest you can do for performance and size, which is 33% important. Her age is 0. If you look down here, the age profile has her as 0. So she's at 0 age, which is perfect. That's 29% importance, what people are looking for. So her MTBF is at 20,000, so that's right in the middle. So I'm going to push a little bit on the price because I want to make a lot of money because I only have 230 of her 230 units that I can sell. So I'm going to go back to my marketing, and I want to put a price at 48. Then I'm going to look to the promo budget. She doesn't have a lot of money. If you look, she's not making me any money. Oh, that should be 45. So I recalculate. Now look, she's not making me that much money. She's only going to make me $2,948. So I don't have that much money, but I can steal some money from Able as well, so it's okay if I don't make too much. So I'm going to put her at 2,000 for both my sales and promo budget. So I'm going to recalculate. Look at where I am. She's $1 million under, but that's fine because I'm going to make a bunch of money with Able. So I'm just going to have to steal some of that, and I'm going to have to realize that she's not making that much money, but hopefully next round, when I put more production into her, then she'll make more money. She'll be able to sell more and make more money. So now I need to look at Able and say, hey, she's probably not going to be able to sell at $38 anymore. So I go back to my R&D. I look at my position and say she's dead center at the low-tech market almost. So I come back to my fast track. I go to my low-tech segment. It says the ideal age for last year, or the ideal price, the ideal position for last year was 5.8, 14.2. She's at 6.6 and 13.4. So you add in the low-tech segment, you're going to add 5.5 in performance and subtract 0.5 in size in order to find out what your new ideal position is for the next year. So the new ideal position is going to be 6.3, which is close, and it's going to be 13.7, which is close. So she's a little bit better in performance and size, but she's definitely not high-tech material anymore. So I go back, and I don't want her to be over $35 then, otherwise nobody's going to buy her. So I go to my marketing. I put her down to, I'm going to do 34, just so that she's competitive, and I'm going to recalculate. So now she's going to make me $17,324. So then I look at my promo budget, and I say, how is my awareness doing? I actually have, for awareness, 100% on my Able product. So if we remember, if you have 100% awareness, then you can replace your loss just by putting 1.4 million. So I don't need to invest the full 2,500. I can just do the 1,400 and I'll be good. My sales budget still wasn't, my customer accessibility still isn't at 100%. So I'm going to leave my sales budget as it is so I can keep raising that up. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go to my production. Oh no, I'm going to go to my finance and I'm going to see how much money I have to put into my production for next year. So I'm going to scroll down and I have $13,000 left over still. So that's really good. $13,000. I'm going to go to my production and I want to invest so that I can sell more next year. So I'm going to put, I want to buy another 350 for Allie so that she can actually sell enough so I can make money off of her. So I put 350 in, and that's only 6,000. I have 27,000 that I can invest. So I'm going to put more in. I'm going to put 600 in, and I'm going to recalculate. That's 10,000. That's a whole lot better. I'm going to raise this to 5. See how that goes. 18,000. That's good. So now Allie is competitive. She's doing good. I'm going to want to raise my automation up so I rely less on human labor so my labor costs go down so that I can make more of a profit margin. So I'm going to go up another 1 to 6.5 and we'll see how much money I have left. I have 23,000, so I have 4,000 left. So I'm going to put like 50 in and see how this goes. So some of you are wondering why I could put 600 in here whereas I'm only doing 50 in here. Well, the more automation you have, the more it costs to buy capacity. So if I tried to buy 600 capacity for Able, it would actually cost probably 27,000 all on of its own. Yeah, 42,000. So I don't want to do that because I already have so much capacity and my automation is higher, I won't be able to invest as much. So, but I'm going to invest as much as I can to get as close to my 27,901. So that's pretty close. I could play with it more, but that's pretty close for this discussion. So I look at it, I look at my finances, I look that I am in debt. Holy cow. So what do I want to do? I don't want to get rid of my production because I like my production. Instead, I'm going to take out a loan. I have 14,500,000 that I can take out in a loan this year. So I'm going to take out a loan, a long-term loan, so I don't have to pay it off right away, but I can invest into my company. So long-term loans can be really helpful when you're just starting out. If you don't need to, then you don't need to, but if you need to, it won't hurt you. So now I look at it, and now I have 1,265,000 left over. I think I'm good. So now I'm going to process, I'm going to file, update my official decisions. I'm going to save it. And now I'm going to process the next round. So now I just did 2 rounds, and that's what we wanted to do today. I can go back to my front page, I can go back to my fast track to see how I did. I sold 77 million. I took over 36% of the market. I'm doing really good. Chester has 34. They're catching up to me. I sold everything that I put out, so it was really good. So now I'm going to leave things open for questions because
Andy,
time's up.
Andy, this is Quinn.
Yeah.
One question. Could you be sure and email me the recorded session here?
Yeah.
And then would you mind emailing me also that Excel spreadsheet? I think